11th place, Lee Black, Real Housewives of Miami. Lee Black is the best of the worst on our list. Living in the lavish world of Miami, she is listed as a mother, wife, philanthropist, author, television personality, entrepreneur and a political activist. That's a lot of titles for the Texas native. Her world-renowned husband, Roy Black, is a phenomenal attorney that allows her to live any lifestyle she wishes. She is a Miami socialite who has found a great deal of success portraying herself as the mayor of Miami. Roy, over 70 years old, has amassed a fortune of over $100 million. Lee enjoys talking about money as often as possible. In addition to enjoying being the center of attention, she shoves her wealth, aka, her husband's wealth, in everyone's faces. Lee talks as if she were a perfect 10, but we're ranking far lower than that and she makes the not-so-hot list. 10th place, Sonja Morgan, Real Housewives of New York. Born in Albany, New York, Sonja Morgan is one of the stars of the Real Housewives of New York City. Sonja enjoys a good life running in high-end social circles, the likes of business moguls, European royalty and the top dogs in the design industry. Sonja was fortunate enough to marry a wealthy older man and millionaire John Adams Morgan. Sonja, despite all of her lavish biographical information, was a mere hostess when she met John Adams Morgan. Sonja was able to have a lavish career and live in the lap of luxury due to her marital partnership. Sonja climbed the ladder of age and money to get her way, but it doesn't change the fact that she is not much of a looker. Her facial features are not appealing and the fact that she is so full of herself doesn't help us get over her below average looks. 9th place, Gina Keogh, Real Housewives of Orange County. Gina Keogh, left, was a model and actress back in the day. She showed off some good looks when she was young, even landing a spot in Playboy as Playmate of the Month, November 1980. This is what drew Major League pitcher Matt Keogh to Gina. What, did you think it was her stellar personality? However, time and life have sapped much of the high-quality Gina exhibited long ago. She strutted around Orange County as if she were a peacock, slinging real estate to the elite of her community. It's not an issue of aging, as Gina has packed on a few. It's more an issue of how she presents herself and talks as if she were something else. She has a nice financial cushion due to her marriage, although that never stops her from complaining about not having enough of it. 8th place, Marisol Patton, Real Housewives of Miami. Another plastic surgery casualty, Marisol Patton's face looks pretty darn stretched. Over time, she has aged poorly. After her first failed marriage of 10 years, Marisol gained the opportunity to start a PR firm. She had a running start with money and she has made the most of her opportunities. Her second marriage crumbled right on camera, becoming yet another reality television show casualty. Despite the setbacks, Marisol has found her successes on the show as well as in business. She may not have hit the jackpot when it comes to a relationship, but she is thriving in Miami with a successful business. However, she did land an embarrassing moment with a very unflattering DUI close-up. 7th place, Kandi Burruss, Real Housewives of Atlanta. One of the few self-made women on this list, it is refreshing to see a talented woman rise amidst these sea of leeches. Kandi Burruss made her name as a songwriter. Her song, No Scrubs, sung by TLC, was a huge hit for her. Her success led her to marry Russell Block Spencer, which only further cemented her success in the music industry. Although Kandi came out guns blazing in the music business, she petered out. Her exposure on Raw gave her some extra exposure. She also met and married a line producer on the show. They are still married today. She makes this list because she simply is not one of the hottest housewives on television. 6th place, Dorinda Medley, Real Housewives of New York. Dorinda Medley isn't much of a looker. However, if you are a solid 5 and can flaunt it like a 7, you may be lucky enough to grab a few wealthy older men. And marriage has been very kind to Dorinda Medley. It is through marriage that she has amassed quite a nice bank account. Unfortunately, she was widowed by Richard Medley, a hedge fund monster who left her wealthy upon his untimely death. Dorinda thinks of herself as a queen on the show, and it is no wonder with her wealth. But Dorinda, we're calling you out for not being all that. 5th place, Heather Thompson, Real Housewives of New York. When you constantly whine and cry on a television show and are an overbloated and overfunded older woman, you are bound to get a towel tossed in your face. Heather Thompson, We Are That Towel. Featured on The Real Housewives of New York, Heather was an annoying personality on the show. What's worse was that her terrible performance was played out before the cameras like a terrible actress. And that's pretty much all she did. Terrible acting. She used to sling outdated lingo as if it were the 90s, and she was Mick Hammer with expressions like holla and this is my hood. Her words alone are enough to have us rain feelings of hate upon her head. But on this list, it's her looks, or the lack thereof, that gets noticed here. 4th place, Nene Leakes. Real Housewives of Atlanta. Nene Leakes appeared on The Real Housewives of Atlanta for 8 years, and without a doubt, we can honestly say that she is not attractive and is grossly overrated. The wannabe actress has struggled her entire career to make headway into the entertainment industry. Marrying Greg Leakes gave Nene some credibility and the ability to get on the reality show. With a nearly 2-decade difference in age, Nene and Greg had their issues. He wanted a young woman on his arm and she wanted some money. Both have had their issues with the law. They divorced and then made a big spectacle when they got remarried. 3rd place, Vicki Gunvalson, Real Housewives of Orange County. On the show for a decade, Vicki Gunvalson wasn't about to give up her day gig on the show. The exposure proved to be exciting for her. Her catchphrase "I want the power and the money, and I want them both" is enough to make you shake your head. Her $500,000 a year salary on the show is a monster that has helped her to amass her $7 million net worth. She also heads an insurance agency in the exclusive Orange County world she resides in. True to her word, Vicki does crave power and money. She blames the show for the end of her second marriage. She was quite bossy and rude, pretty much an all-around awful person, and that could have had something to do to it as well. At the end of the day, though, Vicki does have a bit of a horse face, which is what gets her high on this list. 2nd place, Adrienne Maloof, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. With many plastic surgeries under her belt, Adrienne Maloof of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has had her face stretched and stretched. Her plastic face stands out upon first sight. Back in the day, we are quite certain her skin wasn't plastic, but rather, morphed over time into this display. Born with the Maloof silver spoon, Adrienne is insanely rich and pretty much can do as she pleases. Adrienne made a 3-year run on The Rob. Ironically, Adrienne's former husband, Paul Nassif, was a plastic surgeon. They divorced in 2012 when Paul Nassif got tired of Adrienne's act. Their marital implosion was naturally caught on television. 1st place, Carlton Gebbia, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Marrying into big money can pay big dividends. Carlton Gebbia married Beverly Hills businessman David Gebbia and hit the lottery. David Gebbia is a principal owner in a successful brokerage firm and part owner in his family's sports management and construction companies. Carlton suddenly was vaulted into the net worth stratosphere, joining his $150 million bank account as soon as she said "I do." At times, Carlton's face looks as though it's literally peeling off her face. She then flips her head around with makeup and lighting and can look fairly decent, but her own natural look is too scary to forget.